Welcome to This Week in Hastings Headline History, where we take a look back at what was making news in Hastings, Florida over a century ago. These stories are out of the pages of the Hastings Herald, which was published in the early 1900s. Here are your Hastings headline stories for the first week of July, 1919. Company C of County Guard is mustered out. Company C, St. John's County Guards, was assembled Tuesday night for the purpose of being mustered out. The men were complimented upon their faithful service to their country and state during the time that the United States was at war, and the officers were assured of the highest respect of the men who served under them. Officials of the town congratulated the Hastings Company upon its efficient service during the past 2 years. At the same time, plans were made for the establishment of a National Guard organization at Hastings. Mayor Burt issues warning to the citizens of Hastings. The message reads, "I respectfully desire to call your attention to the sanitary condition of the town and solicit your help in remedying all bad conditions. Summer with its sickening heat is a serious menace without proper sanitary conditions. Danger lies in unsanitary outhouses, decaying trash, stagnant water in ditches, and rank growth of weeds which harbor disease-carrying mosquitoes. Therefore, you are requested to clean your premises of all trash and immediately cut all weeds. We do not want to force you to do these things with warrants when you should do it voluntarily for the safety of yourself and your children." Potato growers have closed their season. Last week, the Hastings Sub-Exchange, marketing the growers' potatoes at Hastings, wound up its business for the season and closed the office Saturday. The association can and does claim the record in Hastings for high net prices received for its growers. The first cars sold by the exchange for the association brought $10.50 FOB Hastings, while the former high prices, one car sold, was $10. Throughout this entire season, 39,520 packages were shipped, for which the association received for Hastings the sum of $236,792.91. Decided to erect General Loring Memorial. Anna Dummett Chapter, UDC, United Daughters of the Confederacy, of this city has undertaken the task of erecting a memorial to the illustrious soldier, and in this work has the hearty cooperation of the City Commission. The chapter proposed to remove the remains from Evergreen Cemetery, where they have lain for 33 years in obscurity, and place them in some conspicuous location in the city, marking their resting place with an appropriate monument. Sister Esther Carlotta announced that a subscription list would be opened. It wants to raise the funds necessary to defray the cost of the memorial. $700 has been pledged, and about $1,300 more will be needed. Save eggs for next autumn. Do you remember how hard it was to get eggs in the stores last fall and winter? You would ask for a dozen and be passed out half that number. What was the price? So high that you said you would put down eggs another spring. We wonder if you have done so. Did you ever try saving in water glass or lime mixture? Dr. N.W. Sanborn, Extension Poultry Husbandman at the University of Florida, says it is better to put down eggs in water glass now rather than not have eggs next winter. The low spring prices have passed, but it is better to pay the present prices than not to have eggs. Eggs will be 20 to 40 cents a dozen higher in December than now, and scarce too. It is a simple matter to preserve eggs, and printed directions can be had of your county or home demonstration agent. Remember that you need fresh eggs, unwashed eggs, infertile eggs, if you want to take out the preserving solution eggs that will suit your needs. From the editorial section, a new school building. Hastings needs a great many things, but the worst of all is the need of a new school building. Have you ever visited the school in hot weather and seen just what condition the school is in? Did you ever notice the schoolyard just after a big rain? And did you think that you could walk from the school building to the fence without a pair of rubber boots and not get your feet wet? Did you ever notice the unsanitary conditions the schoolyard is in while your child was going to school? Well, if you haven't, it's time you're looking into the matter. Those are some of the questions that should be answered to your satisfaction by going and really seeing for yourself. Do you want your land to sell for a good price to the northern people that are constantly coming to Hastings to settle? Do you think that these people are going to pay a high price for a home where they will have to send their children to Palatka or some other place to get an 8th grade education? Not while there are still a few sane men living in the world. If these people come here and pay high prices for farmlands, the value will raise on all lands. but the newcomers want to go where they can have a decent place to send their children to school. St. John's is one of the wealthiest counties in the state, and there is no reason why the people in this immediate district cannot get together and get something that will be a credit to their community. The Hastings Herald also had numerous notices, a way to know what was going on in town and in the personal lives of residents. Here are a few from this edition. Here on visit, Miss Nellie Roberts, sister of Z.J. Roberts, is a visitor at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Z.J. Roberts this week. Miss Roberts is a charming young lady and has formed many acquaintances while at this place. She will return to her home at Lottie, Florida, the later part of the week. Desi Davis, who resides on the St. Augustine Road, has painted his old Buick and made it look like new. Newton Thigpen has gotten the trading fever in the last few days and has traded his GMC truck for a Ford Roadster truck. His Roadster is a cute little thing, and he knows for sure that he will get there when it starts. But the only trouble is the winding up stunt that has to be done when he takes a notion to ride. Don't worry and stop to cry, they'll have a starter by and by. While at the beach the first of last week, Miss Senny Goodwin had the misfortune of being bitten by a mosquito or some other insect, and the bite has caused her to be confined to her bed for 4 or 5 days. Dr. Stanton was called and lanced the place. This resulted in its healing immediately. To close our look at what was happening in Hastings on This Week in 1919, how about a tune from the time? This week's song is I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles by John Kellett, James Kendis, James Brockman, and Nat Vincent.
I'm dreaming dreams, I'm scheming schemes, I'm building castles high. They're born anew, their days are few, just like a sweet butterfly. And as the daylight is dawning, they come again in the morning. I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. They fly so high, nearly reach the sky. Then, like my dreams, they fade and die. Fortune's always hiding. I've looked everywhere. I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air. When shadows creep, when I'm asleep, to lands of hope I stray. Then at daybreak, when I awake, my bluebird flutters away. Happiness, you seem so near me. Happiness, comfort and cheer Fortune's always hiding. I've looked everywhere. I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles in the air.
I hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Hastings Headline History. Our theme music this week was the 1919 recording of Dardanella by Ben Selvon's Novelty Orchestra. This episode was written and produced by me, Michelle Murillo, with the aid of vintage copies of the Hastings Herald. Thank you for listening.